It seems that their brains are flooded, and they don't take good fortune. But it doesn't matter, since that's the case, we also have one less opponent. Let's go! The living dead who stole Xiao Yan's fake crescent moon green fruit said in disapproval. Miss, let's go too. I don't want it. I have to follow them. Feng, he said stubbornly. As an alchemist, she certainly knew the powerful soul power in Xiao Yan's body. Maybe Xiao Yan could give her inspiration to make a breakthrough, and she can feel that it is more important to break through the pharmacist rank than that great fortune. Xiao Yan and the others landed on a huge gray-black tree. Their eyes looked straight ahead, only to see that there was a vast forest. The forest was full of trees that alternated between gray and white. These trees had no branches and leaves. Only the bare tree trunks from a distance looked like a forest of sharp spears, which makes people feel a chill. However, Xiao Yan and the others didn't stop there too much. They directly locked the position in the middle of the forest, only to see a dead air filled there, a gray-white shadow snoring like a dream demon. Because according to what the Golden Dragon King said, the dragon monsters live here. Xiao Yan's terrifying soul force directly attacked the sky and covered the earth, directly piercing the thick dead aura. And the scene in the depths of the forest quickly became clear in his eyes, and he could only see a big tree in the depths. Down, a black shadow was entrenched like a lizard. The shadow's body was actually dressed in black armor. The armor surface was entangled with death energy, and when the death energy fluctuated, even Xiao Yan's complexion was dignified. The death aura possessed by this black monster is far more powerful than the living dead that Xiao Yan and the others have met before. Obviously, just from the perception of the aura, we know that this is a monster that can rival the 4-star Dodi. What? When Xiao Yan visited this powerful beast with the help of the clan mark, he suddenly let out a sigh, because he found that the armor on the beast's body seemed to be quite broken, and even on the surface of its body, there were deep and deep lines. Scarlet scars revealing gray bones. And there are still some fresh wounds, apparently recently injured, and the death energy of this beast is also slightly disordered, as if it had experienced a war before. What? Yuru, who was beside him, also asked in a low voice, looking at Xiao Yan, who frowned slightly. This monster seems to have suffered some trauma. Xiao Yan also said with some doubts. He had used his soul power to visit the periphery before, and there were no other teams nearby. Where did this monster's injury come from? Xiao Yanren was also a little surprised when he heard this, and immediately smiled. Said, "It seems that God really helped us? A wounded beast is better than a normal one." Xiao Yan also smiled. He didn't worry too much about it. His eyes turned. Looking at the death forest, his eyes flickered. Yueru looked at Xiao Yan and said, "There are a lot of monsters in this area, but looking at the footprints, I think they were driven out by this demon dragon, so the demon dragon should have been injured because of this. Let's go. I will wrap you with my soul power and go in and have a look," Xiao Yan said. Xiao Yan felt that things were not so simple, and it was better to be careful. After all, this was a monster that was comparable to a human 4-star Do Emperor, a 4-star Do Emperor. If it wasn't for the beast's injury and the presence of the Golden Dragon King, Xiao Yan with the character of self-confidence is categorically not coming. Although this lizard with dragon blood is extremely powerful, its perception of soul power is much weaker. As long as Xiao Yan and the others do not deliberately provoke the dragon lizard, it is impossible for the dragon lizard to find them. When Xiao Yan and the others started rushing towards the direction of the bloodthirsty dragon lizard, the place where the dragon lizard was had already been visited by a group of people, and it became extremely hot. There were a large number of figures in white standing outside the entrance of the cave where the dragon lizards inhabited. An astonishing cold air permeated from their bodies. Even the temperature of this world was affected and lowered a lot. In front of the large group of white shadows, there are two hunched old figures. Between these two people standing at will, there are two majestic, cold, and evil auras that slowly spread out, giving people a kind of very depressed feeling. Among the two, the most eye-catching is the old man in the middle. The old man had white hair and beard, and was leaning on a dragon-headed crutch that looked like a white jade. The dragon's giant mouth was wide open, and a pair of gloomy dragon eyes showed gloomy meaning. Compared with the famous old man, he looks extraordinarily ordinary, with no energy spilling out from his body, and even that old face is abnormally dry, with slightly squinted eyes, revealing a bit of turbidity. Ordinary old people have no difference at all. What is surprising is that this seemingly unremarkable old man is standing in the middle of the team, and even the majestic white-clothed old man is half a step behind him. Between the eyebrows, there is a little respect. Around Jinko, there are still many people watching the excitement, and when they saw this battle, they were all shocked, especially when they saw the special snow patterns on these people's clothes. It was even more, there was a commotion. It turned out to be from Solomon? Yueru exclaimed. Solomon is one of the most powerful forces in this mysterious spirit continent. Although there are few good or bad rumors, there is no doubt about Solomon's strength and reputation. Don't worry, let's take a look at their purpose first. Xiaoyan was also surprised that Solomon would also set his sights on this bloodthirsty dragon. These people have an unusual aura. The Golden Dragon King also carefully felt the aura of Solomon in front of him. I always feel that their strength seems to be a little floating. Is it my illusion? The Golden Dragon King murmured to himself. Dragon Lizard, we are here just to borrow your dragon blood. The white-haired old man who took the lead said to the bloodthirsty dragon lizard cradling at the entrance of the cave. Boom, boom, boom. The bloodthirsty dragon lizard swung its huge tail angrily. Damn humans! If I hadn't been ambushed by you before, I would have killed you, the dragon lizard roared. These people in front of them actually poisoned themselves when they were eating, causing them to fall into a sluggishness for a second for a short time. The two old men headed by them did not hesitate to attack with all their strength. Although the demon dragon lizard was enough to rival the 4-star Do Emperor powerhouse. But now that he is seriously injured, and the two are also the peak of the 3-star Do D, they are not their opponents. And it can be seen that the dragon lizard is very afraid of the dragon-headed crutch in the hands of the white-haired old man. Even afraid. However, although the dragon lizard was seriously injured, how could the dragon beast give in so easily? Immediately facing the forest is a dragon roar. Boom, boom, boom. Overwhelming monsters came from all directions, and among them there were 3 monsters that were comparable to the late Samsung Do D. Oops, this beast actually called its subordinates. You're careless. The white-haired old man at the head yelled badly, thinking that he could easily conquer the dragon with this dragon-headed cane. Prepare to fight. You hold the other beast, second child. Follow me to kill this dragon lizard. The white-haired old man said. Superior, since you don't appreciate it at all, don't blame us for being ruthless. The white-haired old man Bing Tian said to another person. Bingwu also heard Bing Tian's words, and immediately flew towards the place where Bing Tian was, and the seal was constantly changing in his hand, as if something was brewing. Bing Tian raised the dragon-headed cane high, muttering some strange terms in his mouth. A strange scene appeared. Bing Tian's high-raised dragon-headed crutches actually emitted a whitish-white mist. The bloodthirsty dragon lizard saw these humans in front of him, especially the 2 old men leading the team, the peak of the 2 3-star fighting emperors. Although the strength of the magic dragon is comparable to that of a 4-star Do D human being, these despicable humans sneak up on themselves while they are sleeping, resulting in scars on their bodies, and their strength has dropped a lot. At this moment, the bloodthirsty dragon lizard showed its wisdom that is not inferior to human beings. Looking at the techniques of Bing Tian and Bingwu, it can clearly feel that this is the last resort. Immediately, his entrenched body trembled, and his eyes stared at the two who were forming a formation in front of him. The huge dragon pupils stared at Bing Tian and Bingwu, and the two of them only felt their whole body tremble. And they didn't care about the 3721, because they both knew that if they didn't get rid of this bloodthirsty dragon lizard today, then they will be wiped out. And when I think of not being able to complete the tasks assigned by the sect, if I go back, that kind of torture will be unbearable for ordinary people. Can't lose. Fight. A belief appeared in the hearts of both of them. Saying that, the two of them quickened their movements. The originally dark sky turned into a cloud of mist. Looking at the discolored sky, the bloodthirsty dragon lizard secretly said that it was not good. But how could the unyielding spirit of the dragon race allow such an arrogant creature to escape? Taking a deep breath, the dragon lizard roared out at the cave. This roar seems simple, but the dragon lizard contains an extremely powerful sonic attack. Circle after circle attacked away from the cave. When directly attacking Solomon's disciples, the demon dragon lizard also knows that what he can do now is to greatly reduce their number, so that his subordinates have the opportunity to fight the war of attrition. Boom, boom, boom. The people of Solomon, who were resisting the other beasts, didn't notice the dragon's actions, but were surprised to feel the powerful sound waves. Some weak people couldn't help being festered by the sudden attack of the dragon, and some held their heads tightly. Obviously, their strength was low, and they had no means to prevent this kind of sonic attack. So Solomon's people were terrible. More than a third of the dead. How could Bing Tian and Bingwu not be angry with him? Beast! I originally wanted to borrow some of your dragon's blood to complete a great experiment for us. But now you have angered us, so you must die today. Ha! The despicable and shameless human beings still want to borrow my blood. Is the blood of our noble dragon demon beast yours? Besides, you plotted against me first, and their deaths are just to atone for your sins. Don't worry, you are very happy. I'll go with them soon. The bloodthirsty dragon lizard was also the overlord of the party, and immediately shouted at Bing Tian. All Solomon disciples obey the order and form a formation. Bing Tian's eyes were also red. Hearing the cold shout resounding through the cave, most of the remaining Solomon disciples froze for a moment. After a little hesitation, they responded in unison and slowly closed their eyes. After a while, strands of white energy emerged from the top of the Solomon disciples' heads. Penetrated from above, a steady stream of white fog energy rose into the sky and finally almost covered the entire sky. At first glance, it looked like it was in a sea of clouds, and the ice sky and ice fog were in the center of the sea of clouds to control the formation. Everyone help me! Bing Tian shouted again, coldly looking at the surrounding cloud energy. The blood stains on his face, due to the sonic attack of the demon dragon, had formed blood scars at this moment, which looked particularly terrifying. As Bing Tian's shouts fell, the dozen or so white-robed disciples on the stone platform immediately stood up, and with a jump, they quickly separated and then shot to some big trees around the square, with their hands printed on them. The knots moved at the same time, and with the movements of their handprints, the sea of clouds that filled the sky also suddenly fluctuated. At the center of the sea of clouds, the energy of the cloud chi rapidly condensed and covered the entire cave in an instant. Oops! The bloodthirsty dragon, who didn't agree at the beginning, couldn't help roaring when he saw the completion of the great formation, because of its strength, He also felt a sense of destruction from the Great Formation. The power of, oh, it's actually a double-chain dragon pillar. The Golden Dragon King also said to Xiao Yan, "What is the double-chain dragon pillar?" Xiao Yan looked at the center of the battle, and the Bing Tian and Bing Wu, who controlled the formation, seemed to be part of the big formation at this time. On the other hand, the situation of the magic dragon was extremely bad. The so-called double-chain dragon pillar is a kind of sealing formation, but this sealing formation will have unexpected effects when dealing with dragon monsters. In other words, it is the nemesis of dragon monsters. The Golden Dragon King also explained to Xiao Yan. Road. Xiao Yan frowned upon hearing this. Don't worry, I haven't paid attention to this level of sealing formation. It's okay to deal with bloodthirsty demon dragons with impure bloodlines. If you want to seal me, I can kill them with one finger are also dragon monsters. The former is a monster with a trace of dragon blood, while the latter is a genuine Golden Dragon King. But I always think the so-called Solomon people are weird, the Golden Dragon King said in a voice that only he could hear. Xiao Yan did not doubt the authenticity of the words of the Golden Dragon King. Then he turned his attention to the battle. Xiao Yan also deliberately strengthened the soul power covering himself and Yueru, because he was afraid of being discovered by others. Although the soul power of the people here is much weaker than that of Xiao Yan, there is no harm in being careful. Strange, Xiao Yan is clearly here. Why can't I feel his breath? Said a girl in a colorful skirt. Miss, there seems to be traces of fighting in the cave ahead. Shall we go and have a look? Followed the girl's entourage to explore the way back. I don't know what's wrong, why the eldest young lady of my own family doesn't want to take good luck and wants to come to Xiao Yan, but the mission of these followers is to protect the young lady, and they don't dare to ask any more questions. Go! Xiao Yan, you can't escape from my palm. The girl slowly and playfully rushed towards the cave. Looking carefully, this playful girl is actually Feng. Boom, boom, boom. The great formation controlled by Bing Tian and Bing Wu was also completed at this moment. I saw clouds and mist covering the entire sky, and two sky-piercing beams of light appeared in the center of the rolling cloud and mist ground formation, piercing the sky. The bloodthirsty dragon lizard felt an extreme fear from the two beams of light, followed by the hysterical roar of the bloodthirsty dragon lizard. The seal formation? Isn't the double-chain dragon pillar lost? How could it be in your hands?